Hi, you guys, it's me. I thought about emailing you about the sneaker class, information about getting ready for class and doing some of the prep work ahead. The email was going to say to get started a good 1 to 3 weeks before class because you all are busy and you needed time to a heads up to get ready. That way, we would have more time in class to ask and answer questions and troubleshoot any problems. It's all very simple stuff. It's not difficult. I know you can do it. So I thought I'd just email you. But then I thought, hey, this is an opportunity for me to try one of those tutorial things that people talk about. So this is a video of me showing you what I'd like you to get done before class. Let's do it.
All right, let's talk supplies. You're going to need a fat quarter of outside fabric, outside of your sneakers, fat quarter for the inside of your sneakers, and a fat quarter to make the bias binding. You're also going to need some fusible woven interfacing that we're going to use. We're going to apply it to the outside and the inside fabric. And you're going to need about a fat quarter size of foam interfacing, and that'll be to make the quilt sandwich that we will quilt with the outside and the inside fabric. This is a book, by the way, that I recommend. This is the one I used as a reference when I made my first pair of sneakers. It's called Happy Feet. Now, this is the actual sneaker kit. I got mine in black this time. My first pair was the white sneakers. These are going to be my new pair. It has an outside sole, which is rubbery and very flexible. And it has the insole, which is what makes the shoe very comfortable. If you have custom insoles that you need to wear for your feet, as long as they fit inside or that you can trim them to size, you can use your custom orthopedic insoles. When I got my pair of sneakers, I also received this bundle of wax thread and needle that we're going to use. So chances are you got that too. And from the website where I order these, I was able to download the templates for the sneakers. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Aside from that, we're going to need some shoelaces to tie our shoes, depending on the style of sneaker that you're going to make. If they're the super low or the low or the high tops, the length of the shoelaces will vary. Then we need some tools. Here we have some grommets, and I hope you can appreciate on video that these grommets have two parts. One that is a raised part and one that is a flat, looks like a washer part. So we need these two parts to make one eyelet or one grommet. The style that I have is to be used with a table press, but you don't have to have a table press. You can buy a grommet set that comes with a setting tool that you use manually or with a hammer to set the grommets or to compress the two pieces together. However, I do recommend that wherever you get them, that you get this style of grommet that has the two pieces rather than the style that only has one piece that looks like the washer with like little prongs. Those little prongs get pressed and bent to the inside of the shoe, and over time can wear on the shoelaces. So I would recommend this type. You're also going to need, we're going to be punching holes. So you're going to need some kind of hole puncher. This is the one that I had from a long time ago, well, not a long time, from some time ago. And it has a little rotary dial in which I can choose the size of the hole that I want to make. It is quite big on the hand, and oftentimes I have to hold it with two hands and I kind of lose grip. It's hard to hold, but it works great. More recently, the shop got this little hole punch tool called the OESD Perfect Punch Tool, I think. And it also has different sizes of tips here at the top where you can change them to make bigger or smaller holes. It's very sharp, so sharp that if you use it directly on your surface, it will damage your tabletop. Even if you have your cutting mat, it will make a little dent and you can't repair it. So I do suggest using it on top of another little cutting mat or cutting board. Here is an awl that we're going to use to help pre-punch the holes on the sneaker soles themselves. And then we have more familiar tools. Here's seam ripper, because who doesn't need one? And then we have different kinds of marking tools to make lines so that you can quilt your fabric or mark parts of your fabric on the templates. Here is a water erase one. Here is an air erase one. Here is a heat erase one. Here is a chalk liner. And here is a Hera marker in case I don't want to leave any lines. I just want to make a crease into the fabric. So those are my markers. Then I have scissors of different sizes for different things I may want to cut. I have some basting glue that I often use to help finish binding so that I can finish a neat binding. I do recommend that we all have a little bit of fray check to prevent unraveling and fraying of our fabric. We have some pins, straight pins, and some binder clips that will come in very handy. You probably also at home and maybe even class, we might need to use a rotary cutter and a ruler, in which case you also need your cutting mat. All right, seems like a lot, but some of this you already have. So let's continue. I forgot to mention, you'll need a sewing machine at home and for class. If you want your shoes to fit right, you're going to need to make sure to print that PDF at 100%. It may not automatically be at 100%. So make sure to scale to 100% and hit print. Also, use cardstock paper if you have it. That way it's a firmer paper. It makes it easier to trace the template onto the fabric. After printing, go ahead and take a ruler and measure the scale at the top of the page. If you have a metric ruler, that would be best. You see that the 10 centimeter is exactly 10 centimeters. If you measure the 4-inch line, you'll find that it's just shy of 4 inches. That's because 10 centimeters is not exactly 4 inches. You have to do a conversion and you have to add and multiply and divide and square root. So just use a metric ruler and avoid all nonsense. Next, you need to decide what style of shoe you'd like to make. The super low, or the low, or the high top. And see those dotted lines there in those areas? Those are the reference lines for taping the pieces together. You also need to choose the corresponding line on the tongue, the super low, the low, or the high top. Then take your scissors and go ahead and trim on the lines that you chose. If you see a notch, you cut out that notch and just trim, trim, trim. Cue in the action special effects. Wow, that was exciting, wasn't it? Okay, next we're going to interface the fabrics. You're going to do this to the exterior and the lining fabric. First, go ahead and take out the major creases and wrinkles of your fat quarters. If you don't do this, you risk sealing in or locking in those wrinkles along with the interfacing, and you don't want that. Next, you're going to apply the glue side of your interfacing to the wrong side of the fabric. It helps if your interfacing is cut to the same size or slightly smaller so that you don't end up with a mess of glue stuck to the bottom of your iron or on your ironing board. Also, use an up and down motion of your iron. Lift and lower the iron and keep it in place for anywhere from 4 to 6 seconds at a time. Lifting and lowering, do not use sideways motion because that may cause some wrinkles also. Go ahead and do this across the whole surface of your fat quarters. Now it's time to prepare the quilt sandwich. Take one of your inner face fat quarters and place it wrong side up. Next, put down the foam interfacing and then the other inner face fat quarter right side up. If you're going to quilt this on your home sewing machine, you are going to need to baste the layers. You can do this with spray based or with pins. I prefer pins because they're less messy. After that, mark your quilting lines. These lines can be any pattern you like, linear or curvy, but they need to be spaced no more than an inch apart. Preferably, space them a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch apart. Doesn't matter the design, and it doesn't matter how you quilt it. You can quilt it on your home sewing machine, or you can quilt it on your long arm. In the end, what's important is that you have a densely quilted piece, just like this one.
See, that wasn't so hard. And the rest of the work we're going to do together in class. So I'll see you there. Bye.